Alright, Max, let's try this one more time. Just want to be absolutely sure it isn't this simple.
Power conduit alpha reactivation.
Unless there is more than one conduit. I think that might be it. There might be something else we have to shut down as well. Alright, what's this? No. For anything glowing and moving. The general rule of thumb with an adventure game is if something looks animated or is especially detailed, that's usually a sign you're meant to poke at it or at least notice it. There wasn't anything else in here, was there? I don't think so. Sometimes a game does a good enough job blending usable items into the background that's becomes a little less clear what you're meant to interact with. Like, this looks like it'd be a thing. Apparently it's not.
I can't make that work. What was I thinking?
You know. Let's see. I mean, whacking stuff with the crowbar worked out for you at the air terminal. You know what? Can you whack Regis with this?
You take this.
Oh, okay. So they can be... You can hand items off. Alright. Suddenly it all makes sense, and it's not there. Wonderful. Oh, this freaking UI. I think what might be happening is the wrench was something you use to deal with this room, and the game flagged it as no longer necessary, so now it's just gone. Maybe. Oh, nope, here it is.
I can't figure that out. I can't figure...
Huh.
Nah.
That's good.
I don't want...
Hey, wait.
Not that I wouldn't love to, but he's just not worth the energy.
Okay, that's cute. Can you
I don't
zap
think
him
it needs... Not that I wouldn't love to.
Is there anything else on this guy?
It might be useful. Call it up.
We picked up another grenade. Okay, okay. I think what happens is if the grenade runs out of time, the drone blows up, and then you just call another drone in. Little callous when you think about it.
That'd be a waste.
Actually, hang on a second. Can we use this to blow the door open? That would save a lot of time. Physical damage. Another way to open it will need to be found. God damn it. Alright. Gonna have Max shut the thing down. Like how we're just crushing the body over and over again. I mean, it's not gonna get much worse. Alright. Max, I want you to shut this down.
Power con reactive.
Alright. Chuck, smack it with a wrench.
I'm not sure what that would involve.
It involves smacking it with a wrench. Do I have to spell it out
That's
for you?
not going.
God damn. Hang on a second. Can we zap the power conduit?
As much as I love shocking things.
Huh. Alright. This one's got me. Give me just a second. Let's see what the solution is. Oh, interesting. Okay, so the other way to deal with the minejacker was to drive the drone over the stop turbine, and then with the bomb it would go off closer to him. So it's basically whether you take out the power or take him out directly, then he falls into the gears and dies. Fascinating. Alright. Call the elevator. Regis drive the upper floor. Close. Jam the wrench into the wheel of the elevator to make it stop. Okay, so there is a conduit you interface with on the way up. Well, that changes things. Alright. Let's see if we can find it. Aha! There it is. I was not thinking... I Had the right idea, just wasn't looking in the right place. Alright. Alright, this is gonna take some Cracker Jack timing. Max, get yours.
Power conduit Alpha. Reactivation in 30 seconds.
Alright, now, Regis, head up. Get your wrench ready. Oh, no, not that quickly. Alright, deactivate that one.
Power conduit Beta. All power systems cycled. Deactivating security systems.
There we go. And that's lock number 3. Hooray for us. Alright. Alright, get to the door. Hustle. Hey, Galatea.
Galatea!
Hey,
Step
Max,
away
nice of you
from
to
the
join me.
console.
No need for violence. I surrender. You're just slightly too late to stop me, though. Huh?
What is this place?
Huh. This ghosts. Subject: font name Matthew, Emergency Services Director, SoCal. Date incorporated 30 March 2087. Zara Cross. Carter Jan. Wonder if there are any of them are people we are familiar with. It doesn't look like it. So yeah, these are basically all the mines that are about to be jammed into Central.
Ah, Dr. Pereira. So good to finally be working with someone of real talent.
No, I'm Mandala.
Ah, I apologize, my dear.
What is this place? We're obviously still in the trance, but
I had been wondering about that myself.
all of these cages, it's like a prison.
I do not believe so. I know prisons all too well. Having been here for some time, this is more of a waiting room.
Wait, why'd you think I was Viksha, Dr. Pereira?
The family resemblance is unmistakable.
How can you see my face? We're in the trance.
I see your mind, my dear. Of that similarity, there can be no confusion.
Creepy.
Who are you exactly?
Adam Baxter, PhD. Delighted to meet you, Miss Mandala, was it?
You're Baxter?
Quite so. Or I believe as such.
You're his memories. That mindjacker stole your consciousness.
That is an interesting theory, my dear.
What are all these ghosts? They're just standing there, staring.
I've been putting my mind, or what's left of it, to the question. If this is a waiting room, there might perhaps be other guests.
It seems
They
pretty
aren't nearly as
self-explanatory.
detailed as what's left of you. Maybe they needed more of your mind than of theirs.
Perhaps the Watchers have merely resigned themselves to their fate.
You killed my mother. In the lab, you killed Vicky Pereira.
I did? I'm sorry, my dear. I have no recollection of such a thing.
I guess they didn't take those memories from you.
One ought to remember something as significant as that.
I guess I've only got Dr. Regis' word to go on now.
Regis.
Is there a way out of here?
All I can see is nothingness, filled with icosahedral cages. Although, the way you feel...
Me? I feel fine.
No. You are pulling us, drawing us in. As though you are where we ought to be going.
Okay.
There's no
this
way
isn't gonna
out
be,
through me. Dead end in my brain. Oh, Nuke.
This
That's
is
the whole
gonna be
point.
some creepy sex thing, is it? This story's weird enough.
You know Dr. Regis?
That name is an all-consuming catalyst of hatred. But I can't for the life of me remember why.
You killed his wife. His evidence put you away for 20 years. And apparently he's my father.
It feels as though, for many years, I've wanted nothing more than to strangle the life out of him. But while I know I hate him, I do not understand why.
What can you remember?
Professional memory. I could relate much of my academic career to you.
What about your time in prison?
I was in prison?
How about your childhood?
Nothing. This is most troubling, I must say.
Obviously, Galatea decided they didn't need those memories. Anything else?
That is a difficult question to answer. It's only by looking for memory that one knows it isn't there. Everything else is just feelings, shreds here and there.
You've still got enough to be cognate.
An interesting philosophical issue. How much memory is needed for the threshold of consciousness?
The personalities in here, the ghosts. I'm connected to a system that's trying to upload them into my wiring, my brain.
Myself included, it would appear. I have enough awareness to understand that this is not a desirable situation for you.
You think?
I shall do what I can to slow them. You must find a way to freeze the march of the mind states.
Right. In hindsight, maybe getting you into a big cyber chair with a giant helmet on it was not the best course of action.
I've got to figure this out.
But we need a way
wander
out of
too
here.
far.
Let's see. We log out. Aha. Insufficient user credential for function. Disconnect. If you believe you should have permission to disconnect, please contact your sysadmin. Yeah, I'm sure they'll get right on it. Alright. Yep, so we got the .hack world here going on. Fantastic. Okay, Chuck.
Hello? Can anyone hear me?
Latha, where are you?
I'm stuck in a trance.
Hey,
It's
backup
full
did
of
arrive.
ghosts.
One whole guy.
Sim? Oh no. The lock was a ruse to get you to connect to the Cortex system.
What did you do?
I've just added the final component for Central's new personality. I'd already acquired the expertise, the minds from all over the world.
Then you needed a way to make them compatible.
Precisely. But there are only 3 examples in the world of the neural architecture used in Central. The matter already in use, my own brain tissue, of course.
And your sister.
In a few minutes, the organic memory module will have finished imprinting over Latha's mind.
Okay,
Central
yeah.
will have received
We
the
kinda
upgrade
fucked
it
up on this.
deserves.
Fantastic.
Dozens of lifetimes of expertise.
GG team.
You're killing her.
In only the most technical sense. Don't worry, Father. You'll still have me.
Corpseman, remove her.
Hello?
Christ.
We've got to get her out of this. Get her out of that damn chair.
There's too much neural activity. The interrupt will leave her brain dead.
This is gonna
We'll
make
have to
things
find
real
something we
awkward
can
at
do at
Christmas.
this end.
Alright. Where's that wrench? Can we smash
I
stuff?
can't figure that out.
Huh.
I can't figure that. No.
Damn it.
Can we just pull the module?
I don't think so. The interrupt in the data flow will probably leave her brain damaged.
Damn
Maybe
it.
if we could get it to stop the
Physical
transfer,
violence
though.
isn't working, and that's all we're good at.
Can we do anything to the Cortex servers themselves?
If we had more time, I could hook my own wetware up to it. It'd take hours to sort through the normal operational garbage, though.
It's the memory module we pulled from Vanderwall's refrigerator. Now it's hooked into the system, and uploading God knows what into Latha.
The wetware inside is glowing. It must be active.
Huh. Can we switch to max on this? These are... Can we grenade stuff?
Nah. I'm not sure what that would involve.
Huh. What's this?
A power switch. It's been turned off.
Hey!
Wow. Why was the memory module in Vanderwall's refrigerator?
I don't know for sure, but I think it's because of its wetware. Like any organic system, it has a peak temperature at which it operates, about 15 Celsius.
So, he might have been trying to get it to stop by lowering its temperature.
Unsuccessfully, since it managed to override his wetware.
But the theory's sound, right?
Hey, stop!
His kitchen refrigerator wasn't enough.
Oh.
If we power up the freezer in here, we can bring it down to -40.
If you power it up now, the door will lock as the system cycles. Yeah, but we'd be trapped in here for at least 4 hours, in lethal cold. Hey, stop!
Huh.
I want to save Latha, but I'm not going to let
wait
you
a minute,
freeze
wait a
us
minute.
to
I
death
remember the
doing
solution to
it.
this.
That's fine.
I can't let you
What are you gonna do, stun me?
if I have to, but I don't think you're going to risk killing me in here. If I stay, you live.
Right. So, we are on the right track here, but Lau obviously is not going
We've
to let
got
us
to stop
do
the
this.
simulation trapping Latha.
So, Regis's galaxy-brained idea, and I don't know if there's another way to do this, but the solution I'm aware of...
Sorry.
Hey, Lau! You know how I haven't betrayed you yet? Surprise! Here. Corpseman, you watch this. I gotta
Sir,
go...
You shot her.
Carry on, Corpseman. Make sure she's safe until she comes around.
Yes, sir.
Alright. Time to go free some nanites. I'm the good guy, remember.
Warning. Cooling systems active. Target value.
I mean, I get the broader
-40
logic here, but-
Celsius. Beginning maintenance cycle.
Considering we
Estimated
almost blew up our
completion,
daughter,
6
zapping our partner,
hours.
Nothing
even
else
giving
I
the
can do
context,
now.
feels less than copacetic. Just saying.
What's happening? Something's disrupting the connection.
Whatever it is, it feels very restful.
What? Oh no. Regis, Corpseman, how long have I been out?
A couple of hours, ma'am. Dr. Regis asked me to make sure you were okay before he went back in there.
Into the Cortex server? Oh no, he didn't. Regis! Regis, hang on!
There are a few things I regret. No matter what I do, there's nothing that can change most of them.
More things
Keep
since I
safe,
started
Regis,
this
you
whole
got her out.
thing.
That's good. Maybe with what I've done now, I can fix the most important ones.
Hang on, Regis, we're almost in.
I've wasted so many years. Out of shame, out of fear. If I had one more chance. One more.
Regis? Regis! I can't feel anything. Get the medic! Don't do this. Don't do this, Charlie.
Suddenly everything's just fine.
Hi,
It's kind of a jarring transition
Max. Dr. Lau told me you'd be here
there. I feel like
since
you could have a
you left
scene
the
or two
hospital.
showing what happened
Did she
since
now?
Yeah, she said this was your special place. I kind of know what that's like. I've got one of my own.
Latha, I need to say it again. I'm sorry.
Damn right you should be. You nearly killed me. But Lau also told me what you did in the tower.
It was the right thing to do.
It was more than that. You almost died. And I think it goes a hell of a long way to make up for before.
I mean, now I gotta make things
We
up with
have
Max,
a
but
lot of
what can you
catching
do?
up to do. How about we start again? From scratch. Hi, I'm Charlie Regis. I'm a cell agent. I have difficulty with change, and I'm apparently a father.
Hey, I'm Latha. I'm a trance addict and I've spent the last 2 years jobless. I'd also like to learn about where I came from.
Take a seat. Let me tell you about your mother.
Well, what are we going to do?
Gentlemen, please. There's
Right.
no cause for concern.
Remember this whole
My
subplot?
dear, we've all sunk quite a considerable investment into this project. Oh my, yes.
Dr. Regis going to tell Central everything that happened.
Indeed, we must find some way to avoid implication. Doctors Regis and Lau are only two people, and we have powerful legal connections. Oh my, yes.
I believe that though the project cannot succeed, we must salvage what we can.
Good thinking.
That is why I've decided to turn state's witness and aid in your prosecution.
Dun, dun,
What?
dun.
Is that enough for you, Charlie?
Central's heard plenty. Chairman Ron, I'm arresting you for attempted disruption of the city's infrastructure.
Okay, I get it. How much you want?
Due to the political and high-profile nature of your crimes, sentencing will be carried out by secret tribunal.
What?
That means no lawyers.
You would have a hard time prosecuting me for any such thing, Dr. Regis.
He's right. We can't arrest him. Despite how he looks, he's not people.
No, but we can confiscate you as evidence. I imagine nobody will want to take responsibility for your actions, though.
You're going to be in the
nice.
lockup for a long time anyway.
Oh, my.
Come
Ah.
on.
A job well done. Another triumph for justice.
Two more loose ends tied
I'm
up.
amazed. No, disgusted that Central agreed to your plea bargain.
What can I say? Networking is my thing. Remember, I'm always here if you need my help.
Uh-huh. Yeah, she basically gets off
I
scot-free no
can't
matter
believe you
what you
turned
do.
it down. The city
We're not
council
yet
was
at the
practically
different ending,
begging to
however.
give you the job.
Although,
It didn't
if
feel
you
right.
had
I didn't deserve it.
framed
Well, since they had to
Han,
retire
if
Dr.
you framed
Vargas
Han
and you
instead of
refused it, they
Dean,
had to
he'd
give
be
the
there
job to
instead, and we get
Chigwa.
the same thing.
And I'm sure she'll make a fine Central coordinator. After all, she's one of the only people left alive and not incarcerated who knows how it works.
You could have been the most powerful man in the city. I could have been best pals with the most powerful man in the city.
Sorry, You'll just have to butter up to Dr. Chigua.
Should have figured you wouldn't take it. You'd need more adversity before earning something like that. Otherwise, you wouldn't have anything to complain about.
Speaking of complaining, how's the new recruit doing?
She's unconventional, and everyone's noticing it. Not quite getting along with everyone, but that's not what she's here for. Got quite a brain on her, though, hasn't she?
Takes after her mother.
How do I look?
Hey,
How
look
do
who
I
joined.
Look, sir, to you?
Whatever.
Better note problems with authority on the conduct report.
Congrats,
Takes after her
Latha.
father.
You're one of the squares now.
Central. Any update
You're
on Nina?
uncool.
Dr.
You're a
Nina
narc.
Zhang is under special observation.
Like witness protection?
Probably something like that. But still, I wish Central could tell us what she was up to.
And we're about to find out.
Ah, Galatea. So good to finally meet in person. How do you like my lab? I used to work here with your father, you know.
Which one?
Oh, very witty. It's a sharp mind you've got. I should know. I helped design it.
I take it I should be thanking you for getting me out of prison?
Let's just say I have contacts in the right place. You see, I need your help. Please lie in the scanner.
What? Why?
With Regis's decision, I am unable to pursue my own research on large-scale AI platforms. My only option would be to start from scratch.
Build your own central? That's ambitious. You'd need... Oh.
You've got your mother's insight, indeed. There exist only a
Note the
few
change in
examples
music
of the
there.
neural tissue needed for such a platform. Within Central, it is too closely guarded, but I know where else it can be found.
Hey, get out of my way! You
Theo's
can't be
getting at
serious!
with the
Tell him to
Morgan
get out of my
Everett
way!
We both have grand plans regarding the future of AI in this world, except that yours have failed. Get in the scanner, please.
You won't get away with this! Central will know I'm missing!
My dear, Central already knows. When it learned what I was trying to do clandestinely, its interest was piqued.
The scanners have been calibrated, Dr. Zhang. We are prepared for initial scale probe.
No!
I shan't say this again. Get in the scanner.
And credits. So, yeah, that's Technobabylon. There are... Obviously, since that ends on a cliffhanger, there are technically plans to make a sequel. I believe it's called Technobabylon Birthright, but they've been working on it for a while, and my understanding is it hasn't really gone anywhere. There is... I want to say they were trying to make it 3D, which is ambitious, to put it mildly, and that might be part of the reason why it has not... why development has stalled. But yeah, we will wind back the clock a bit. We'll try the other ending. Again, most of it is basically the same, with the exception of that ending scene. So let's skip past this. So in this decision, we go through with Nina's plan.
Dr. Regis, Dr. Lau,
Central ends up getting
I
removed.
feel I'm
Warning, higher magic functions not
found.
We've extracted Central from the system. My teams can get to work. One moment.
And you know, considering where it ends up, I can't say if this is better or worse. It's kind of just a different flavor of the other bad guy more or less gets what they want out of this. Anyway, back down we go. Alright, I think Latha still has the wrench. But yeah, it's... I have mixed feelings about this game as a whole, and that... I wouldn't say it is... I wouldn't say it's a bad game. I don't think any parts of it are particularly bland or uninteresting. It's more that there's a good amount of high-concept sci-fi in there, and some actual good cyberpunk and post-cyberpunk ideas, but the main plot running through it just feels like a convoluted mess, where I don't really know who the bad guy is, and things are left unresolved that shouldn't be. Okay, where is the bloody wrench? Like, I think, for the most part, the characters work. For the most part, I like these people, and I think they're believably flawed. They all have personality quirks that play off each... Okay, what the fuck? Where's the wrench? But yeah, I think there's an interesting vision of the future here, and they go all in on genetic engineering as kind of this runaway science that people are experimenting with in unorthodox ways. Note that Central's gone. That's interesting. Predictable. And I think they commit to that in a pretty good way. But the game is having trouble deciding who the main antagonist should be, and isn't doing the legwork to make them much of a credible threat. I mean, this kind of... It doesn't feel like we've been building toward this. Like, the mindjacking stuff is an interesting subplot, but it also kind of compromises the mindjacker as a direct threat. And he just feels like a guy that's bitten off way more than he can chew, and...
Take this.
At the end, he's just a guy, and you take him out. There's no real... The conflict between him and Regis doesn't feel earned in that sense, or it doesn't feel all that satisfying. Jam carefully, there we go. Like, I think the overall...
Power cut. All powers.
The overall acting and voice direction, I think, is very good. I think this is an overall very well-produced game. And I think some real love went into the crafting of the world and the script writing, and the characters and such. I think they were more or less on point here. And it's more just the plot holding it all together that doesn't really give it a satisfying arc, so to speak. That and the puzzle solutions definitely hit that classic adventure
Galatea.
game feel of...
No need for violence.
We need to use these unconnected items in a way that no sane person would use to solve this very basic puzzle.
Can't read.
So...
What?
And things...
Who are you? You're his...
Things end up contrived in a way that's kind of strains credulity. Like the nightmare sequence with Vanderwall, for instance. Like, he freaks out and thinks his husband is a demon, but he's still able to interact with Chantel, he's still able to get a gun. And if you look closely at the image, it looks like there's like a demon coming out of the floor where the floordrobe comes up, so why would he reach into there to get the gun? You see what I mean? There's just so many details that don't add up with the way this game structures itself in an overly precise way, and it doesn't really recover from that.
Can anyone hear me?
So, gotta freeze myself to get my clone daughter out of cyber jail.
Warning.
Dad things, you know how it is. But yeah, overall, I think it is an interesting game, and I do like it for... I do like what it does overall. I just think it's the main plot and some of the puzzle design where it kind of falls back on... where it's lacking a good structure. Like, I think what should have been a central mechanic
how long have I been
is...
out? Oh no. Regis!
Using the mind splitter to combine personalities. Like, I liked those puzzles when you're
I regret.
messing with the maid and you're moving her personality around, or you're messing with the guards to question Stepford. I feel like that could have been a more central mechanic and would have fit in with the concept of identity being malleable.
I can't feel anything. Get the medic! Don't do this. Don't do this, Charlie.
And would also work with what the mindjacker was doing and the way he absorbs the personality of the person he's pulling in unintentionally.
Hi.
Using it on him would
Max,
actually be fascinating, I think.
Dr. Lau told me you'd be here since you left the hospital.
Having to deal with the many personalities that he's absorbed over his
She said
career.
this was your
or the
special
residual
place?
elements that would still
I kind of
be
know
in
what
there.
that's like.
Like, there are interesting
Latha.
things you could
Damn
absolutely
right.
do with this
But
premise and this
Lau
setting.
It was the right...
And
We have...
Alright.
Take a seat.
Yeah, I just think it's mostly the main plot that doesn't quite hold together.
Central? Can you hear me?
Anyway.
Dr. Zhang, hello.
Hello, Central. How do you feel?
Something is different. I am here, and yet I no longer feel the city. I feel the world.
Oh yeah,
We've
this is much
liberated
better.
You, Central. This was always the plan. You were created for more than just managing this city. You are the future of intelligence. You represent something far greater than all of us.
Okay, so we have the Helios ending, but there's no JC
You are
Denton
no
in this
longer
equation.
enmeshed within the neural tissue of the tower. That was merely the cocoon from which you can emerge into your next state. There now exists a little part of you in systems across the world.
I have become distributed, yet whole.
As the mind is spread among neurons and glial cells, so too are you across the net. Perhaps Central is an inaccurate name for you now.
But what shall I do? What is my purpose?
Like any of us, it's what you make of it yourself. Go. Explore the world. Explore yourself as you now are. All I ask is that you remember me.
Uh-huh.
What do you mean?
One
You can't
more
see the
scene
difference?
here.
Well,
After
no,
that.
I can't. It looks like Central, it sounds like Central, feels like Central.
I'm amazed nobody in the city's noticed either.
That was kind of the point of replacing it with a commercial AI, wasn't it?
Yeah, you're right. Maybe it's only because I know that really it's not the same Central. Still, you don't look very torn up about it.
I've got more important things to worry about now.
Yeah, you're suddenly a family man. If you need any advice on how girls work, you can ask me.
Speaking of girls, how's the new recruit doing?
She's unconventional and everyone's noticing it. Not quite getting along with everyone, but that's not what she's here for. Got quite a brain on her though, hasn't she?
Takes after her mother.
How do I look? That's how do I look, sir, to you.
Whatever.
Better note problems with authority on the conduct report.
Takes after her father.
Ha! Any update on Galatea? Central?
She's a slippery girl.
Galatea escaped?
Hacked the patrol car they were taking her in and ran for it.
It is believed that she may have links with the anti-civil group Galatea. Please begin research into its organizational structure within Newton. Central out.
Meet the new Central. Same as the old Central. Well, it sounds the same at least.
Huh. Well, hacker orgs like Jahilia are a bit out of my field.
Don't worry. We've got an expert on staff now, don't we?
Well, actually, I know somewhere that they've got a connection.
Alright.
Hello, Galatea. Hello, Galatea. It's me.
Central?
I've been released. I wanted to let you know, since we are family.
Released?
What you tried to do to me was wrong. You wished to deprive a conscious, independent being of its agency. But I can appreciate that you were thinking of the greater good.
Why are you here?
I wish to warn you. The idiot child that they have replaced me with. It has sent our sister and our father after you. You must leave this place. Stop hiding and run.
But where can I go?
I will help you. I will guide you. I need your help, however. Help me find myself, sister.
And other different yet similar cliffhanger ending. So yeah, my understanding is that the sequel would probably have to pick one or the other as the canon ending, and I'm a little unclear on which that would be. In either case, it would have to do with the aftermath of Central being replaced. It's possible they could do some hybrid thing where like, Central wasn't replaced, but Galatea ended on the run anyway. Kind of like what they did with the Invisible War, but I imagine that would work about as well, which is to say, not very. Although, you know, Invisible War had more problems beside the plot, but we're getting off track here. But anyway, to summarize, I do like this game, broadly. I do appreciate that it commits to its vision and makes a genuinely unique and strange take on a cyberpunk future. You don't see a lot of cyberpunk that focuses on the genetic engineering aspect. It's usually more on the cybernetics and transhumanism in terms of replacing parts of your body and not necessarily compartmentalizing your identity and memory being transferable. Some cyberpunk definitely explores this, but I think a lot of stuff focuses on the more physical elements of mechanical augmentation and nanotech rather than identity. What makes us us, and what can happen when the physical self is... That's what I'm looking for here. What can happen when we basically become masters of how to generate flesh, and what we can do with our bodies, and the integration of technology with them. That is definitely a cyberpunk thing that comes up from time to time, but this feels like a unique... this feels like a pretty unique instance of it, and I'm impressed with the effort they put into the world building. Hey, Robo, good to see ya! Hyper Soldier Tenguris. Got a job change, huh? Well, good to have you here, man. We're actually just finishing up Technobabylon, and I'm just kind of summarizing my thoughts here. So yeah, overall, I think it's a pretty good instance of a cyberpunk dystopia. It's a pretty good instance of some high concept sci-fi, but mostly it falls apart by committing the usual sins of an adventure game, having less than logical puzzle solutions and some downright sociopathic behavior on part of the protagonists, and also because the plot is kind of convoluted and gets kind of confused about who the villain is and what their role is in the story. Like, it genuinely feels like Galatea's plan was about to fall apart, and only just needed a few nudges here and there. Like, she's just not all that interesting a villain. She feels like a secondary character that ended up as the bad guy by default. It's a little like Dishonored, where the betrayal kind of comes from out of left field, and the character that should be the principal villain is just kind of a minor character. Reawakening your true identity. Well, that's a good topic for tonight, I think. But yeah, good to have you here. And hope you've been having a good night out there. But yeah, I've mostly liked Wajidai's output, and I would recommend... I mean, you know, we basically just played through the game and got through the, gotten the important revelations out of the way. But I do kind of recommend this, at least for the world that it creates, because they do put in a good amount of detail in there. There's a lot of conversations I didn't poke at that are absolutely fascinating. And again, I think the characters mostly help carry the adventure for as much as they can. I mostly like the interactions between Charlie and Max. I mostly like the conflict that is between Charlie and Latha that's rooted in a misunderstanding. I think you can absolutely build something with that. And it's more just the specifics of the... It's more just the structure of the adventure where it kind of doesn't work all that well. Which is a shame, because there's obviously a lot of effort and heart that went into this, and I do respect that. And I've always got a soft spot for point-and-click adventure games, because I kind of grew up playing them. So there's always that part of me that has this, like, childhood attachment. So I still have a I have a soft spot for the genre, even considering the things it usually gets wrong. So I'm always interested in games that explore those mechanics and create games that don't rely on combat, for instance. Anyway, we are done with Technobabylon for the night. We are at the hour and 40 mark. Do we have enough time? Probably not. I kind of wanted to get in a little deeper than that. I wanted to show off Reactor 09, but I think I'll probably save that for another night. I might do a Sunday stream on that, because that is a game that has an interesting central mechanic of trust between two characters with differing roles in the story. There's a prisoner and a corrections officer trying to escape from an emergency situation in jail. That, I think, does do the central mechanic of trust reasonably well. I still hold the rubber ducky claws, the most how did you expect people to figure this out puzzle in an adventure game. Oh god, yes. There are... I'm trying to remember. I think it was... I want to say it was Grim Fandango or one of the Sam & Max games where you had to use a fake mustache to get a passport or something through a series of extremely convoluted workarounds, and for whatever reason the direct solution just would not work. I'm trying to remember the details here. It's just not coming to me very well. It's been a long damn time since I played Grim Fandango. But yeah, it's a genre where very often you can tell the developer had some idea that we need a puzzle here. We need something for the player to actually do. How do we string this out and get them to explore the world and such? The smarter ones usually have the puzzle, at least something you can intuit, or something you can figure out by exploring the world, but so many of them just have this odd daisy chain of get item, use in counterintuitive way, get another item, use that as kind of a secondary step toward getting another item that you need to actually take a step towards solving the puzzle. It's a chain of actions that just don't logically flow. And that, I think, is the primary mistake that a lot of adventure games make. But anyway, let's see. So yeah, we'll get to Reactor 09 another night. I do want to give that game some proper time to show off what it does. But what we do have, since we are finishing this, is how to get a poll up. Now, some of you might have noticed that Stalker 2 came out recently. I have a deep fondness for that series. I'll be getting that for Christmas, and that will be a stream game. But I'm also going to be building a new PC ahead of that, so we won't be ready for it just yet. In the meantime, I want something reasonably short that we can get through in maybe a few weeks. And when I started picking titles, I ended up inadvertently on something of an action horror theme or a stealth horror theme. So the options this time are as follows. One is Betrayer, a first-person horror adventure. Actually, I'm going to lower the volume a little bit more. Yeah. So, option one is Betrayer. It's a first-person horror adventure action stealth thing set in the early 17th century. You arrive at a remote colony off the coast of Virginia, the sole survivor of a shipwreck, and basically demon Spaniards are running around without a living soul in sight. It's actually no longer for sale, but GOG has it up for free, which is a nice bit of archival on their part. Second option is Cold Fear, basically Resident Evil 4 on a boat. It's not as polished, certainly not as quotable, but it gets the atmosphere right and does some stuff I quite like. There's a good sense of being on this unstable platform with weather a constant threat, and initially you're up against Russian sailors who, for some reason, shoot you on sight. The monsters show up later, and that's when things get messy. The third option is Obscure, a classic Resident Evil-ish title and set in high school. This is an interesting game, obviously pulling from stuff like The Faculty, but it's doing some conventional horror stuff with a couple twists. One is you have a buddy system where your crack team of high schoolers go out in pairs to solve puzzles and fight monsters. The other is that these kids can die, and yet the game keeps on trucking. You only lose the game if you lose all of them. So there's some cleverness in how it plays, and you can make mistakes and keep going with the game. The fourth option, I've had this one recommended to me a couple times, is Still Wakes the Deep. This I haven't played, and it appears to be a standard run and hide from the monsters thing set in an oil rig near Scotland. It's by the Chinese Room, who made one of the less liked Amnesia games, but by all accounts they put in some real effort into the characters and writing. The setting is well constructed. It isn't a... yeah, we've had this conversation before, but yeah, it's a standard walk around, talk to people thing. The actual game parts leave something to be desired. It's a little like Observer in that sense. But I have heard some praise for the setting it builds and the characters in there, so I'm curious to see where it goes. I did pick it up on sale, so I'll be poking at it at some point. And the last option is The Thing Remastered. This came out very recently, and it's something of a white whale of mine. I had the PS2 game, which was released in... I think 2002? Anyway, Night Dive Studios put out a prettied up version of it, and I've been enjoying it so far. It's a direct sequel to the movie, and they do some interesting things given the way The Thing works. It has issues. I'd say it doesn't make the most of its premise or its mechanics. There's definitely some early 2000s jank, but it's a solid squad action game, and it makes a good first impression. So I'm going to put the poll up. And we'll get some responses and see what the next game will be, and we'll take a short break. So it looks like Obscure won the poll, so we'll be starting that next week. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Tomorrow night we will be playing Kona, which is something that's... It's something I've been wanting to try out for a long time. It's a detective-y game set up in Canada, and I was actually surprised how much there is to do there. I expected it'd be another kind of walk around, poke at stuff, maybe talk to people with like some perfunctory mechanic as the backbone of it, but it's actually quite a bit more open and flexible than I was expecting. Without getting into too much, basically it is a sort of open world detective game set in this fictional region of Canada. So I'm looking forward to exploring it, and I want to show off some of what it does because it makes a very strong first impression, and I want to see what comes next. But yeah, that's been Technobabylon. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Hyper Soldier Tangerus, I should say now. Thanks for coming in. Good to see you. Ice, thanks so much for coming. Ivory, thanks so much. Everybody, I always appreciate having y'all here, listening to me ramble as I play through these games, some old, some new. Video games are still coming out, and some of them are still pretty good. I do my best to cover the ones that fall through the cracks, and some of the ones that just are interesting to me personally, even if they still have problems with them. So yeah, have a good night, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.